Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers third-party masterpiece inspired review. Today I'm taking a look at the MX-VIII or 111 or the MX-VIII Paean, aka Transformers masterpiece Hoist. Paean is kind of a song of praise, praise for the god Apollo, I think. But yes, so here we have X-Transbots, the interpretation of Hoist. If you haven't already seen my Trailbreaker review, I'll leave a link to that at the end of the video. Hoist is a big lump incorporating some die-cast, and please bear in mind this is a pre-production sample. It is a test shot, it's not final, so the paint quality and joint tightness may differ when we get to the official product. First of all, let's take a look at all of his accessories. His first and largest accessory is the large crane arm section, which he uses to help his friend grapple to move the boulders which were crushing their machine. We get two highly articulated gripping arms. These are done very much the same as KFC's Simba's tail. These slot on, and there's a lot of flex and play with these. You can pretty much get them in whatever pose you see fit. We get the scaled down model of their solar energy machine, very similar to what we got with the official Takara product. Now I do have some damage on the top here, but like I said, this is a test shot. It didn't come packaged, we didn't get instructions, it was just in a bag. So things like this doesn't bother me because we won't be getting that with the final product. We get two hand accessories, which we slide the fists off and slide these on over a mushroom peg. This can slide on Hoist when we fold his fists inwards. And we get two of these securing pegs, which again slide on to Hoist when we fold his fists inwards. And these allow us to attach the accessories which were included with the likes of Ratchet and Ironhide. We get the evil alien masks for Trax and Hoist. These are probably the best accessories I've ever seen from a third party. They are fantastic. And last but by no means least, we have the toy accurate face sculpt. I was never a fan of the toy's head, although I did have the original toy and it fell apart on me. I didn't used to mistreat it. I used to look after it, but it kind of just collapsed. Right, let's take a look at Hoist himself. Bear in mind this is a test shot. This appears to be cast in this green, both in metal and plastic as opposed to painted. We have some nice detailing down here. We have the turbo four-wheel drive logo on both the side and on the front. We do get rubber tires. We get painted up rims. I don't think they're actually chrome. I think they're a very high gloss silver there. And we get this nice big backpack section here. Now, what really impresses me is if we bring in Trailbreaker. Trailbreaker in his robot mode is actually quite a bit taller than Hoist, like he was in the cartoon. And in essence, these are exactly the same vehicle. But that being said, X-Transbots have actually created an entirely new rear end section for Hoist as opposed to what they've used with Trailbreaker. Lining them both up there, you can see that the wheelbase is a lot longer on Hoist. This section here is completely different. Just looking on the underside, it's nice, considering these two were pretty much an identical toy when we had the G1 release, and to get them to look so close and so similar in their vehicle mode, those subtle changes can make all of the difference. Bringing in some other masterpiece styled figures, I think these two look exceptionally good in the collection. They've got a very accurate vehicle mode. It's a very realistic one, much like we're getting with the official Takara releases. And at the same time, when we transform them up into bot mode, they're not overly complicated. They're got that simplistic cartoon vibe about them, which is exactly what I want. I want them to nail both modes. Right, let's take a look at these accessories. The first one is the claw section. We have 1, 2, 3 points of articulation. We also have this section where the claw can move, and the claw itself is actually spring loaded, which I think is a really nice touch. We can attach the claw by lining it up on the rear section here. We can just apply pressure and that's going to slide inside that groove. So he can really help out his BFF grapple. Taking a look at the solar power machines, we do have some good and bad points. Maybe this will get some additional paint applications. The colour is vastly different to what we get with the official Takara release, and of course we do get the removable section on the Takara release as well. But it's still a nice accessory to include. I mean, which one do you guys think is more accurate? I can't recall the actual image from the show. I believe X-Trans has done a pretty good job, but I'm assuming Takara's one is more accurate. But again, it's still a nice accessory to include. The two arm sections fit exactly the same way as we did with the claw, but because they're made up of several ball joints, unfortunately they don't support weight anywhere near as well as those tough ratchets of the claw. Coming around to the back of Hoist, we can bring this section down. These sections here can slide out and adjust, and what we can do, we can use this wheel on the base section here, and we can bring in our Autobot cars. You can just line these wheels up and adjust these sections as you need to, and then Hoist can do what a tow truck is meant to do. He can actually tow his Autobot brethren. I love the fact they've put these on sliders. It makes all of the difference when it comes to transporting the Autobots because they're all different sizes. Right, now let's get Hoist transformed up into his bot mode. It's a little bit more on the complex side in comparison to their Trailbreaker, but still nowhere near the Apollyon stage. Just come to the back here and just untab these taillight sections here, and you want to just bring the tailgate section up like this. Giving this back section a tug, we can just pull it out from this section here, fold the wing mirror down, and we can just bring this section up, and that's going to lift the windows out from the side of the doors. Lift this entire section up and bring it forwards, and then get these sections here, and you want to just lift those up and untab them on both sides. Now untabbing these sections here now frees up these wheel sections. You want to just grab them by this point here and just applying pressure to the knee joint, pull these sections backwards, untab these side panels, and it's on a sliding hinge. Just bring that up so it's just lipped over the edge. Lift the leg down, flip this tab section here upwards, bring the leg up, and as we bring it up, we're going to pull this section along the slider, which slides it all the way up to the top here. You can then fold this section back down on itself, and this knee section is going to tab in to the top like so, and then we can just tab in on the top of the knee like so. Now the most complexing part of this entire transformation is to get this tab through this hole. It's like nigh on impossible. You need to get this section quite square. I've been trying to do it, and I realised that I hadn't pushed down on this section enough, so it was up at an angle. You need to get it pretty square, making sure that this section is fully collapsed, and then we can bring this section in. As we bring it in, we actually need to push it across and upwards at the same time. So we need to go up and across, and then tab that in like so. Untab the knee joint section, bringing this out, and we bring this section over, and as we bring it over, it's going to claw around like so, and just tab in over on this side like this. Bring the toe outwards, pull this whole section here upwards like so. We can then bring that down, come to the back here and flip this section up, closing off the back of the foot. Fold the hip skirt sections up, and there's a tab in there. It's on a double hinge. Bring this section all the way up and just tab those together, and that is the legs done. Now the upper torso is very similar to what we got with the Trailbreaker. You just need to untab these sections from the doors here on both sides, untab the wheels from these arms, and bring the arms down and out of this section again. They tab in at the top here, which secure those into place. We can then bring these arm sections out to the side on both sides, and unlike Trailbreaker, we actually bend this section up at an angle, keep the wheels outwards, and slide this section in, tabbing it into place. Legs are on a waist slider, so applying pressure, we can slide this section forwards and then rotate it around. Now, Hoist's head is much bigger than Trailbreaker's, so you need to rotate it sideways first to bring it up, and then as we bring it up, we can then slide it through the gap, bring it forwards, and then rotate it back around. Come to the backpack section, you want to just bring these tab sections down, fold the window sections down, and then we can just bring these side moving panels up so it looks like this from the outside. Bring this section down like so. Come to the arms, we want to bring those up on either side, lift this section up and over, and then collapsing and sliding this backpack in. There's a orange tab on the inside there, and there's a hole on the back. We want to slide this in, and that's just going to locate and tab in securely. And then these sections here that we folded down, they're going to tab in under the arms on both sides. Fold his side view mirrors inwards. Rotate this arm section upwards, making sure that this section is out of the way. Remember, we bend that up on that double hinge. Rotate the outer arm around, bringing this joint upwards on a ratchet so we get lots of clearance. Tab that down. We have a hand in here which we can bring outwards. We can then extend this arm, bring this section here up and over, and that's just going to come in and fold inside the arm like this. You can then rotate the arm around and just give it a little bend. And to make him more cartoon accurate, you want to just change out these hands. It's on a small mushroom peg. Just move the hand out and bring in his accessory and slide that back on over that mushroom peg, like so. And then we have a very nice version of G1 Hoist. Here he is alongside his BFF. I actually think the scale is a little bit off with these two. I believe Hoist is meant to be the taller of the two, but that being said, the G1 continuity with the cartoon was all over the shop. Yeah, some episodes he was taller, some episodes he would be smaller. Really like how they look together though, and I love this kind of simplistic look to him. It really does tick the masterpiece boxes, and just look how extremely tidy that is. That is a very clean back kibble, nice slim chest, and I love how different the transformation was. And here he is alongside Bossbot and Drax. Those masks are brilliant. And here he is alongside their Trailbreaker, and of course Bad Cube's interpretation of Hoist. It's really, really nice, and I love the huge difference in height for these two figures, considering Hoist actually had the longer wheelbase. Taking a quick look at the articulation, the head can look up on two swivels. You've got a rotating neck joint there, and you also have a separate joint inside the head. We go left and right quite freely. We have these strange joints on the shoulder sections here which can come outwards and inwards. We can also drop those down to lower the shoulders slightly. Got a nice friction joint there and a nice ratchet going up. We have a rotation at the bicep, bend at the elbow. I would like a double jointed elbow, as I mentioned with the Trailbreaker. The waist does rotate. We don't get a huge amount of range there due to the backpack section here, but we get enough to pull off some nice poses. There's no abdominal crunch. The hip skirts can come out to the side and to the front, which allows us to bring the legs forwards and all the way backwards. We can come out to the side. We get a nice rotation at the upper thigh. We get a nice bend at the knee. That's a good depth on that knee. Coming down to the feet, they can go forwards and backwards, and they can tilt quite nicely to the side. So for an engineer, this guy is pretty poseable and dynamic. The hands are what we get with the standard KFC and X-Transbot figures. We get fully articulated fingers at 1, 2, 3 points and a ball jointed thumb with a single joint in between. And you still got the ability to add normal weapons to his hands. He doesn't actually come with any which require them to be held in. And like I said with Trailbreaker, I feel that the hands are probably just a fraction too small and out of scale considering the bulk and heft of this guy. But that is literally a small nitpick and gripe. The head, to change it out, I like to turn it sideways, and then you can just apply a little bit of pressure to that mushroom peg and just pop that off, and we can bring in the alternative head, and the same way just bring that back onto that peg, rotate it around, and there we have the toy accurate head. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, X-Transbots interpretation of Hoist. I really like what they've done with their Trailbreaker and Hoist. They are probably the best offerings that X-Transbot have done to date. I'm very impressed with them. They are really high quality. Considering these are both pre-production samples and test shots, there's still some room for improvement, like these knee sections there, and maybe possibly adding slightly bigger hands, and some of the joints are a little bit looser or a little bit tighter than what they may be for the final production. But overall, I still stand by my decision in saying that these, at this point in time, are the best offerings of Trailbreaker and Hoist on the market for your masterpiece collection. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you found this video useful, please feel free to give it a big thumbs up, share, and of course subscribe. And until next time, from myself and Hoist, thanks for watching. Goodbye.